7 to shoot. Nowitzki drives, but underneath lefty layup, banks it in.
We all know Dirk Nowitzki as probably the greatest European basketball player of all time. He just about achieved everything he needed to achieve all in one team without even asking for a trade or telling superstars to join forces with him. But the 2011 version of Dirk was something else. He was not human, and we're here to show why. Before the 2010-11 season, Dirk Nowitzki was already one of the most decorated stars in the league. He was a multiple-time All-Star, a perennial All-NBA talent, and one of the greatest players born outside the United States. But there was something missing: a championship. At that point in his career, he had yet to win a ring to secure his legacy. He had a chance in 2006, only for the Miami Heat to thwart him and the Dallas Mavericks. But at 32 years old during the 2010-11 season, time was not on his side. The good part was that he had a pretty good team. Still, no one actually considered the Dallas Mavericks to actually win a championship that season, and there was a good reason why.
Here's Nowitzki with the jumper.
You see, there were a lot of great teams that season. The West had the two-time defending champions, the Los Angeles Lakers, gunning for a third straight title. The young Oklahoma City Thunder, led by the duo of Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, were also making some noise in the West. Meanwhile, the San Antonio Spurs were as steady as ever, evolving from a slow-paced team into a fast one. Over at the East, the Chicago Bulls were rolling under eventual MVP Derrick Rose. But the biggest story in the league was the Big Three of the Miami Heat. In 2010, LeBron James changed the history of the NBA by joining forces with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in South Beach to form one of the biggest super teams in league history. The Heat were the favorites to make it to the finals, and people were gunning for the Lakers to actually make it out of the West to face Miami in what could have been a star-studded matchup between Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, the two biggest superstars of that era. The Mavs, of course, were good all season long, focusing their offense on Dirk while getting some good contributions from role players. They played a balanced style that didn't necessarily rely on superstars.
Find him on him. Gets a stack, and it's that quick release. Up three.
They were simply solid everywhere because this was a team built around a generational star and several veteran and role players who knew their roles and were hungry for titles. So, at the end of the regular season, the Mavericks won 57 games and secured the third seed in the West. Only the Spurs and the Lakers had more wins in the conference. Everyone thought either the Spurs or the Lakers were going to leave the West to make it to the finals. But that was when Dirk happened. Dirk Nowitzki was always great, and no one could ever deny that. He was always one of the most unstoppable offensive forces in the history of the NBA because he's 7 feet tall and could hit shots from anywhere on the floor. More importantly, no one could defend that patented one-legged fadeaway jumper that always struck fear into the hearts of some of the league's best defenders. But after averaging 23 points and 7 rebounds during the regular season, he didn't look like he was going to be a lot better in the playoffs. Instead, he simply took his game to the next level. Dirk set the tone in the first round of the 2011 playoffs by matching up with the younger and equally talented LaMarcus Aldridge of the Portland Trail Blazers. They had a similar style in that they both relied on a steady diet of mid-range shots and timely inside attacks. But Nowitzki showed why he was the better power forward. He averaged 27.3 points on 44% shooting from the three-point line in that series win over the Blazers. Though Portland stretched the series to 6 games, Dirk had 2 games of scoring 30 or more points.
That's one of the reasons why they won 48 games. Here's Nowitzki again, falling away. Dirk got that one.
This included his insane closeout performance in Game 6, where he had 33 points and 11 rebounds while shooting an insane 64.7% clip from the field. Yes, he had a great series against the Blazers, thoroughly outplaying Aldridge. But critics thought they were supposed to win that series anyway, because the Mavs were the higher-seeded team and had the superior superstar. So, coming into the second round, which was a meeting between the two-time defending champions, people thought the Lakers had this in the bag. After all, the Lakers had Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest players in the world. He also had 3 7-footers who solidified the Lakers' front line. Andrew Bynum, Pau Gasol, and Lamar Odom were set to take turns guarding Dirk the entire series. But the big German was simply on another level. Nowitzki set the tone early by going for 28 points and 14 rebounds in a win in Game 1. Then, when everyone thought the Lakers were going to win one game at home, the Mavs had an answer for everything they did, winning Game 2 in the process. Then, at home in Game 3, Dirk went for 32 points and 9 rebounds while shooting 12 out of 19 from the field. No one on that Laker team could stop him from scoring. And the deflated and frustrated Laker team simply folded in Game 4, allowing the Mavs to blow them out of the water in a clean series sweep. Nowitzki averaged 25.3 points on 57.4% shooting from the field, outplaying every big man the Lakers fielded. That was when everyone realized this was not a fluke, and that Dirk could be in the middle of a legendary run.
The middle right side, Peja fakes the shot, gets inside the arc, pull-up jumper, good.
But before he could actually solidify himself as an unstoppable force in that 2011 playoff run, he had to find a way past the young and athletic OKC Thunder, a team that upset the more experienced Spurs in the previous round. If the Thunder could beat Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker, they could defeat Dirk. But the big German had something to say about that. He was not human in Game 1 of the 2011 Western Conference Finals. Often matched up with the athletic shot-blocking Serge Ibaka and the big-bodied Kendrick Perkins, he used his combination of mobility, skill, and versatility to force his defenders into tough positions. Dirk drew foul after foul and was simply automatic from the free throw line. So, as the dust settled, he finished the game with 48 points, making 12 of his 15 shots and hitting all the 24 free throws he attempted that game. The Thunder's inexperience could not keep Nowitzki off the foul line, leading to a Mavericks win. Of course, the Thunder tried to make this a series by stealing Game 2 in Dallas and hoping to go home to OKC to make it a 3-1 series by winning both their home games. It looked like that was about to be the case when they held Nowitzki down to 18 points on 7 out of 21 shooting in Game 3. Luckily for Dirk, his teammates stepped up to make it a 2-1 series lead. Then, in Game 4, he exploded for 40 points to help his team go up 3-1. He rallied his team from a deficit in the fourth quarter to steal that win. And in Game 5, the Mavericks simply showed their poise by closing the series out and qualifying for the NBA Finals.
And they'll reset. Nowitzki again for the lead. Bang!
Nowitzki averaged 32.2 points on 55.7% shooting from the field in that 5-game series. This was him showing why he was on an entirely different level throughout the 2011 playoffs. But the job was not done, as he and the Mavs were on their way to the finals in a meeting with the Miami Heat. Now, everyone thought that the Heat were favored to win this series. After all, they had more superstars who were still in their prime. Meanwhile, the Mavs only had Dirk. But it turned out that the Mavs didn't need more superstars. They simply needed their one superstar playing at the highest level while leading a group of hungry veterans. Still, the Heat showed why their talent was enough to bring them to the finals. They won Game 1 to draw first blood. Dirk even tore a tendon in his left middle finger, but he vowed that the injury was not going to affect him. His 24-point performance in Game 2 kept the series close. This included a clutch driving layup that solidified the win for the Mavs. Still, Miami kept fighting, winning Game 3 despite Nowitzki's 34-point explosion. He tied what could have been a game-tying shot at the end of that game. Then, in Game 4, Dirk had his signature flu game, reminiscent of Michael Jordan's own flu game. With LeBron and Wade making fun of him for coughing, Dirk didn't care that he had a fever during the entire game. He scored 21 points and grabbed 11 rebounds despite having his worst shooting performance of the finals. The highlight of that performance was his game-tying basket, solidifying the win for the Mavs.
About 102 fever. Haslam right up on him. Driving right and lays it in! Oh!
With the series tied 2-2, the stars aligned for the Mavericks. Nowitzki recovered from his fever and had 29 points in a win in Game 5. Then, with a chance to win the series once and for all in front of the Miami crowd, Dirk had 10 points in the fourth quarter of Game 6 to put the game and series away and secure the Dallas Mavericks' first NBA championship. In what was a performance worthy of the 2011 Finals MVP, Dirk Nowitzki averaged 26 points and 9.7 rebounds the entire series. While a lot of people attribute that Mavericks win to LeBron James's poor performance in the finals, there was no doubt Dirk was the world's best player in the entire 2011 playoffs. He averaged 27.7 points and 8.1 rebounds on 48.5% shooting throughout the entire postseason. Dirk simply upped his performance in the playoffs, believing this was the best time for him to bring out everything he had in him to win a title. More importantly, his brilliance was the only reason the Mavs won in 2011. Dallas didn't have any other All-Star. Instead, they had veteran former All-Stars like 37-year-old Jason Kidd and the 32-year-old Shawn Marion putting up solid numbers even though they were past their prime years. The other role players, like Jason Terry, Tyson Chandler, and JJ Barea, were doing their part, but none of those players played anywhere close to All-Star level that season. Meanwhile, Dirk had to face teams with multiple All-Stars or Superstars on his way to the finals. We're looking at big names like Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, who are all Hall of Fame level players. But he beat all of them without any doubts at all. Dirk Nowitzki simply wasn't human in 2011, and that was the reason many people still regard the 2011 Mavericks title win as the most meaningful championship in the past 15 years.